Ahem. Hello out there. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Hi, welcome everybody to another live stream here from AutoCrit. My name is Daniel, and I'm so glad to have you here for the end of the Short Story Challenge 2024. Now, before I get started, I'd kind of like to ask you, what did you learn along the way while you participated in this challenge? How did you grow as an artist? We, of course, love to do these challenges for lots of reasons, but our primary concern, the main reason why we love to do the challenges, is to help our community become better and stronger and more confident. Just elevate your writing career, right? It's of course a lot of fun to get involved in these challenges, and we love all of that. But yes, it does serve an actual purpose. That is our goal, and we can. If you go back a couple of episodes here, you can see where we actually showed some examples of people that were talking about how participating in all these challenges have helped you out. Now, currently, submissions are now open, and I will show you how to do that in just a moment. But you do have a few days left in order to button things up if you so desire. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come on is to answer any specific questions you have about that. So let's do a little recap. We, of course, have some prizes, and I'll be giving away some prizes today. These are not related to the stories. Obviously, we haven't had a chance to read a lot of them. A lot of them haven't even been submitted yet. So, this is a random draw just for participating, just for being part of the short story challenge. We're going to be giving away some great prizes, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully, your name gets called and all of that. Remember, you do have access to the writer's desk as part of this challenge, and I will be showing you ultimately how you're going to submit through the writer's desk in order to participate in the final judging. Rules of the game. This is a final systems check, right? A little checklist for you to go through, for you to button up everything, whatever you want to say, batten down the hatches, button everything. I don't know, zip up everything, whatever it is, neat and pretty. Remember, these are rules, not guidelines. Okay. Please do not treat this like Pirates of the Caribbean. I know 4 times in a row, but please do not treat this as Pirates of the Caribbean. These are hard rules, and so we will be following them. We have to for the sake of fairness for everybody. So we do want this to be a narrative. That means please don't give us just a string of data without any clear main character or without any clear focal point or purpose. Don't give us a self-help essay. Don't give us uh, just the history of rocks, unless it's a narrative history of rocks, in which case, fair enough. But put it in a narrative. It is a story. Should have a beginning and a middle. Doesn't necessarily have to have a conclusion. Short stories can end ambiguously, but no, we do not want just data or random information, things like that. I'm looking at all these comments. I will be going through them in just a minute, so keep the comments coming. Experimental writing forms are acceptable. So if you ended up writing something that was like a text conversation or a diary entry or a blog entry or like recovered information or something, that's fine. As long as it tells a narrative, you're all good. No more than 5,000 words. This does, in fact, mean no more than 5,000 words. 5,001. So double check. You can see it in the upper right hand corner in the writer's desk. That will be the number we're going to go off of. So, for example, th- uh, this is not going to be accurate in that the example I have here is huge. So, yes, if you were trying to submit a book that was 66,488 words, no, that's not going to work. But yes, do not submit anything over 5,000 words. Also, it can't be shorter than 1,000 words. So somewhere in between those numbers. I doubt too many people are going to do that. Please do not submit illustrations because we are not going to be able to print them. That's not really part of the challenge. That is a different sort of art form where you have pictures that tell the story as well and there's shared information. we're not going to go down that path for the purpose of this challenge. We wanted it to be a text only challenge. So if you have them, get rid of them before you submit them. And hopefully it doesn't matter to the story. It was just, you adding it just for the fun of it. That's okay, but just get rid of it. Otherwise, we're going to assume it does matter to the story and we're going to disqualify you. And of course, if it did matter to the story, then that's not going to work for this challenge, unfortunately. We do have some creative guidelines, but generally it's pretty open. Genre is acceptable, so I know we get asked about that because we often lean into the standard genres of like sci-fi or horror or fantasy, and people are like, well, what if I write literary fiction or more real world scenarios, and it isn't so genre-ish, as it were? Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to be doing some fantastical crazy horrific thing in order to be considered, as long as you're writing well and effectively. Please, no sexual violence. That's for the help of the judges. We don't really like to read any of that. No sexual activity with minors under the age of 18. We are going to be doing this. We're not in the mood to do that. No incest or extreme section 10. Any questions about this, like what is extreme, you can always ask us. So that way you might edit it, because we're not going to edit it for you. If it's there, it goes, because we're not going to censor your material. So if you thought, oh well, I included it but I could change it, I could change the relationship to people, I can make it less extreme, that's fine. So ask us those questions maybe before you do it. You do need to submit by the end of the month, May 31st. That is coming up fast and furious, right? Just a few days. That is Friday. So please do not wait until the literal 11th hour on Friday, because you might find that it has closed. I don't recommend doing that. Put that date in your mind, May 31st. Cement it, memorize it. In other words, hopefully you're already done. You've been building all this time and you're not going to have to wait until the last second. So hopefully not. It does need to tie into the official theme of racing. Now, when it comes to this, the main reason why we have a theme is to give you something to start out with so that you don't have to just write completely from scratch, and also to try to indicate that we're wanting you to write this for the challenge, not dust off something from mothballs that you wrote 10 years ago, but you should have written it during the time frame of this challenge. Obviously, we're not there behind your shoulder. We don't really know what people have done, but that is the purpose of the challenge. And so by giving you an official theme, and hopefully you tied into it really well in an effective way, we can vet out some of the people that are not meeting the purpose of the challenge and are just bringing up something that they wrote 20 years ago or something like that. Nothing wrong with chunk stories. That just wasn't the purpose of the challenge, because we're trying to encourage people to get to their keyboard, write something new, create. All right. Uh, how do you submit? Dun dun dun. I know you've been waiting for this. You are super excited. But before I talk about that, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the comments here and how you are doing, because I think some of them might tie into questions before you get to the submission as well. Do you write the event name, author, and then the title of the story? You don't have to have any of that in your text. You can name your file the title of your story. You as an author will be attached to it based on whatever you have in the writer's desk. So if that's your name, it'll be attached to you. Or if it's a pen name, it'll be attached to you. Keep in mind, we're not looking at that as we're judging anyway, right? Because we want this to be a blind process. So if you put it in text, we'll have to delete it because we don't want the judges to see that. So please don't, just it saves us some time. You're about halfway through your story. Well, you're going to rally and you're going to pull it off, right? That's a lot to do in a short period of time, but that's okay. Going to be done tonight. That's all right. You got plenty of time. Just get it done tonight, and then you'll be fine. You honestly had your doubts you'd get a story done for this event. The one you're working on is your 5th attempt. Well, you're doing it. Get it done, Kara. I have faith in you. Excuse me. I finished my short story last night. Very excited. Yes, I'm excited. Gina often has some great stories, so I'm excited to see that. Hats off to all the scribes. Yep. Gonna put through one more edit. Yeah, I understand that. Just because I'm like, hopefully you're all done doesn't mean, yes, you do have a few more days if you want to do that final polish. That's fine. That's fine. Mine is locked and ready to load. Awesome. Fantastic. Second draft complete. Well, you got a few days left to turn that into a final draft. This topic took you outside of your preferred genre and it was harder to write than you thought to keep from drifting into horror. Well, keep in mind there was nothing wrong with writing in the genre of horror, but trying to write something different, I'm going to give you some props. That's really good. That's something that we all need to do as artists from time to time is try something different. Did historical fiction had to really change little things based on the time period. All right, learn to pay attention to small details. A short story is a great opportunity to dip your toes in another genre and learn some of the things that come up. Sometimes we're like, oh, I'm going to be a shoe in for that genre. It'll be so easy. And then you get into it and you realize kind of how complicated it is. Or on the flip side, sometimes you're like, I don't think I'd write that genre well. And then you get into it and you're like, actually, I'm getting I'm getting some good results here. I seem to have a feel for it. I seem to have a knack for it. Editing is tough. You're always finding more every time you go through it. That is true. That is one nice thing about deadlines is at least it forces you to abandon. How many winners are we choosing? It will be based on the word count and the flow. We want to have an end trophy anthology that is, hefty enough to feel nice in the hands. So usually that's about 10. But the only reason I'm not saying it must be 10 is that if for whatever reason we ended up with 10 winners that were 1,000 words each, that's only 10,000 words, and we would want it to be bigger than that. So there'll be a little bit of flexibility based on getting it up to a pretty decent word count size, like 40, 50,000. So usually it's about 10. You had fun with this challenge. It's gone back into writing. Exactly. That's the whole purpose, right? The whole reason why we do this is to get people back into writing. All right. Keep going. Keep going. Where do you submit? I'm about to tell you. Yeah, you're sneaking in during your history class. Ha ha ha. You finished all of your edits yesterday. That's great. You're having a hard time submitting your story. You're so paranoid. That's fine, proofreading. Keep in mind, I mean, we do understand that there's often final edits that can be made, like simple things, like simple typos and stuff like that. There have been winners that have had simple mistakes, like you could tell like didn't put a paragraph in the right spot or didn't capitalize a character name or something like that. We understand that you're human. As much as we do recommend you try to be as immaculate as possible, uh, certain things are understandable, right? That's very different than you needed to do an entire rewrite, the developmental edit wasn't there, or something like that. All right. When it comes to submitting, so on the writer's desk, you can see you have that top toolbar, planning, analysis, pacing, dialogue, all of that. If you look in the upper right hand corner, is that little 3.5 disc, which is the universal sign for saving. And I'm going to zoom in a bit. It's going to sort of warp everything, but just so you can see it. Okay, obviously you're not going to be this zoomed in when you actually use it. But see, if you go to save up here, where the 3.5 disc is, and then you go down to submissions, let me zoom out so it doesn't wrap quite so silly. There we go. Yeah. You'll go down to submissions and then you'll just have to hit this little check mark. Okay. Keep in mind, once you've hit that check mark, that's it. You have submitted. So you better like what you've submitted. We have no takes backsies, as it were. It's right there. If you did not write your file originally in the writer's desk, keep in mind you can upload directly to the writer's desk. In order to do that, you would sign into your AutoCrit account, and everybody has an AutoCrit account. We created one for you just by participating in this challenge. And you're going to go to upload file. You can see I'm like flashing it right there under right. So you'd upload your file. You can upload a DOCX file or a TXT file or a RFT file or whatever it is, and you can import it directly into the writer's desk, and then you can submit. You may want to double check as you're submitting that word count in the upper right is less than 5,000. Sometimes word counts will vary from software to software. We do a true word count. Some pieces of software do more of a general gist of things based on some algorithms. So it can give you a different result at times. There's also some debate as to what constitutes a word at times. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Do you add our title? You can, but there's no need to because the file name is your title, right? So if you saved your file as something, then that could be the title. And so then it doesn't affect the word count. If it's in the text, it will count towards the word count. Although I'll try to catch that. Remember, we enough entries that we're going to go quickly in terms of things like word count. So if we just look and we see that 5,010, we may not have an opportunity to actually double check and be like, oh, it was because of the title. So just in case, I would leave it off. I would save it, and that's it. You got 4,999. See, this is why we have to be very, very careful because I'm assuming, Katarina, that the reason why you had to really pine over that is because every word counted and that was what you came to. Well, the last thing I would want you to do after all of that, tearing your hair out to get to that number, is have somebody beat you that is 5,001 words. That just doesn't seem fair, does it? So we do have to be strict on that policy. All right. Difficult time not going over the limit. Exactly. It is one of the biggest challenges of the challenge, especially for authors who are more used to writing novels. Okay. But we're not done yet. All right. I know you're like, submit, be free. No, no, no. We have more to talk about because, of course, we have prizes. So let's go ahead and give away some prizes. And I have a big announcement at the end of this stream, which is going to be what is our next challenge, which I'm sure a lot of you are interested in. We'll discuss that as well. 5,320 and dropping. You're getting there. You're getting there. I think you can do it, Tim. I believe in you. All right. So the first prize that we're going to give away is the Creating Cultures Workshop. This is going to be a live workshop with me. I'm going to go through all of the different steps that writers should go through in order to create a believable and captivating original culture. Or this could even apply to somebody who wants to write about a culture that currently exists. Just all the different things that you would want to consider about it. How do you make a rich and interesting cultural world or a combination of cultures as well? Anyway, it's a great subject. I've really been enjoying putting together the presentations. It's going to be 2 workshops. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat if you're interested in joining us. 2 90-minute workshops. The first one is going to be a lot of tips and tricks and things to think about. And then the second one, we're going to actually do some in class exercises and I'll give you real time feedback and it'll be a lot of fun. So the first winner of the Creating Cultures workshop is DK. DK, they go by DK Donkey Kong. Now, DK Royal Family is their email. I'm DK as well, so I love love that what is it? Initials. I love those initials. Uh, and the second person, these are all randomly drawn. What we do is it's very high tech. I have a list of everybody and I just do a random number generator and then we pick. That's how it works. The next one is Kelly Mosgoffian. I hope I pronounced your last name. But Kelly Mosgoffian, you are the grand winner of Creating Cultures. All right. So next round of prizes, we're going to be giving away Fiction Forge. Look at this. Woo! Fiction Forge is our 45-day this time around. We do different times depending on the time of year because of we want to have we're doing Fiction Forge and Story Sculpted this summer, so you can do both of them back to back and do like a whole creating your book over the summer, which is really fun. Fiction Forge is 45 days of just how to write a book. Step by step, I'm there for you along the way. We have a combination of live lectures and interactive exercises and all types of things in order to take you step by step through the process. Again, putting it in the chat if you're interested in joining us. I also have a link there below. The first winner of Fiction Forge is going to be Nicholas Nicholas Stivers. Nicholas Stivers, congratulations to you. And the second winner is going to be Christopher Tyler. Christopher Tyler. So congratulations to you. And yes, join us for Fiction Forge. The next prize we're giving away is the Deep Point of View workshop. Deep Point of View is a very popular topic. A lot of artists ask me about it because, well, when it comes to writing, deep point of views become popular because it really immerses the audience into the head of the main character. And a lot of people just ask, how do you do it? What are the rules? What makes something deep point of view? All of those sort of things. All right. So more winners is more better. All right. So the next winner is going to be Brandon Shoemaker, I believe is your name. That's your email address, Brandon Shoemaker. So if that's you, congratulations. And then I also have John James Greco. John James Greco, congratulations to you as the winner of the Deep Point of View. The final set of prizes I'm going to give away are for Pulse Fiction, the art of thriller writing, which is very exciting. Love thrillers, love the excitement, love the adrenaline. However, there's of course a challenge to that. How do you get it started and give yourself room to go? How do you maintain that sort of frantic pace without wearing out the audience or making it melodramatic? Lots of things to consider in a thriller. What makes a thriller different than a mystery or a horror? We'll talk about all of that. Audience expectations, best practices. There's a lot of mechanical writing. There's a lot of things to think about from a writing perspective in the mechanical sense of how you're pacing your sentences and things like that. Because there's a voice to thriller writing that is quite distinctive, and there's a similarity across the authors that I would say doesn't exist quite the same in other genres. I'm not going to try to oversimplify, but I do think quite there is quite a similarity in the voice and thriller a lot of the time. So, anyway, if you want to join us, it's right there below. Otherwise, we have a couple of winners here from the challenge. Elisha Wardlaw. Congratulations to you, Elisha. And Becky Till. Becky Till, congratulations to all of you. You will be receiving emails to let you know how to redeem your prize. And if you're signing into the writer's desk or onto the AutoCrit homepage and you go to the academy, you should be able to just go to my courses and they should appear for you automatically. So if that doesn't happen, just let us know and we will get that fixed for you. So congratulations to everybody. Of course, our grand prizes, they'll be announced later because those are for the grand prize is that trophy anthology, and that will be given to everybody who makes it into the trophy anthology at the very end. All right, so you might be clamoring to find out what the next challenge is. Yes, what is in fact this next challenge? Where are we going next? Well, beginning next month, which is next week, we are going to be kicking off our Pulse Pounding Short Story Challenge. Woo! So, this challenge is going to be specifically for writing a shorter form story that is high tension, high stakes. You'll get more details about how you're going to do that next week, but we're going to have certain expectations involving the writing desk and involving the content to fit. It doesn't necessarily have to be a true thriller. If you don't write the thriller genre, we're still going to extend it out to other genres, but it does need to be a high tense situation. Something else we're doing a little bit differently with this is that often with our short story challenges throughout the year, we keep them to about 1,000 words, except for the big one that we're doing right now, which is up to 5,000. This one, we're kind of splitting the difference. It'll be up to 2,000 words. And so we're going to have less finalists. We'll have probably about 5 finalists at the end of this next challenge. And they will also be read on YouTube. So this is something we do differently with these challenges versus the trophy anthology. What happens is we get to the final 5. We'll read them all. I'll read them all here. Maybe we'll try to make it dramatic and interesting. I'll try to get like the thriller music going and stuff. That could be fun, right? And then it's all up to you. So then the audience gets to decide who the grand winner is, and the grand winner will receive a whole lot of prizes. So that'll be great. I love this attitude. That sounds like a good challenge. I'm not very good at thrillers or suspense. That's exactly why we do these challenges, right? We do these challenges to be challenges. It helps you think in different ways. We've done them and they're about romance. It doesn't have to be in the romance genre, but we want that character connection. We've done ones that are scary, even if you don't want to write a true horror. And what we have found is a lot of our writers are like, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could write that kind of scene. Keep in mind, even if you do not write thrillers, you do have to write 10 scenes all the time, right? So, for sure. Somebody is getting to me on fewer, not less. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. 2000, because yes, technically there's rules. There are specific grammatical rules that a lot of people apply to those terms. I understand rhetorically we moved on from it, but yes, technically, grammatically, there is a difference. Okay, 2,000 words, so I only have to cut about 8,000 to fit in. Exactly, Tim. Yep. I love picking on Tim. He's one of our lifetime members, and he always goes on about how he's long-winded, which isn't actually wrong. He is rather long-winded, but he's a good writer, very entertaining. Love these challenges because they're so great at expanding my horizons as a mostly inexperienced writer. Oh, well, that's great. Age of 16. That's fantastic. I'm so glad that you're getting involved. And really, it's all practice, right? How many times do you have to write something before you get to some really good quality? People will often, it's like playing the violin and how many thousands of hours you have to practice and things like that. Simply getting into the chair, putting words on the page is going to benefit you. And having these challenges having these challenges is a nice way to have that incentive, right? Because yeah, you can sign up. There'll be prizes with this one as well, just for signing up. And of course, this is a little bit different in that the finalists will all be read on YouTube. So that's kind of fun, and you can get some public play for that if you like. All right. You think needing it to 2,000 words will be the pulse pounding story. Well, maybe you can write a story about somebody having to meet some sort of deadline and it's really tense and things like that. Yeah, if you have a couple of hours, I could expand on that. That's awesome. They stretch your writing skills at 74. That's amazing. Sure, that's our goal, right? You can always learn and you can always become a better artist. All right. Well, if nobody has any other questions about the challenge, I certainly beckon you to go back and submit. For those of you who missed it, I think I still have it up here. Hold on. Yes, I can show you. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into your document. Whichever document is the one you're going to submit, you're going to go up into the right hand corner. I'm going to do a little floating head there, right? Look for that little universal sign for saving, the little 3.5 floppy disk. And then go to submissions, and then you're going to want to check this check mark. You can see you have currently 3 days, 10 hours, 28 minutes, and 21 set 20 set. It'll count down for you. But please do not wait until the last minute because you never know. You could have a glitch, your computer could die, your internet could go out. Please don't do that because once the clock strikes 12, like Cinderella, your story turns into a pumpkin. Now, it's just we're going to have to take a hard line on that for everybody who is making sure they get it in on time. Good luck to everybody. Certainly looking forward to reading all of your entries. I really love doing that. I love how throughout the years of doing this, I've seen growth. Sometimes I'll read something and I'm like, I wonder if it's that author. And then later on, when the contest is over, I'll go back and I'll look it up and I'll be like, oh, it is that author. And look how much better they've gotten and things like that. So that's really great. Thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful day. I'll see you around Autocrit. Bye, everyone.